Yes guys, it's FPL Guy here and welcome back to the channel. And if you're new here, then how you guys doing? What's up? So in today's video, I'll be showing you guys the best differentials that you could pick to help you boost right up the ranks straight off the bat. And just before we get into today's video, if you haven't already subscribed, then definitely do so. There's going to be plenty of videos all throughout the season helping you guys out win your mini leagues against your mates. And one final thing, please do like the video, it really helps out the channel and literally takes 0.5 seconds of your time. I really appreciate that. Now if you already know about this giveaway, feel free to skip this part of the video. However, for all my new viewers, I actually have a giveaway going on right now. The prize will be anything worth up to £50, literally anything. And there's going to be 2 winners which will be picked. And how to enter is going to be just on screen. All you need to do is subscribe to the channel, follow me on Twitter and retweet the post about the giveaway and you'll be automatically entered just like that. The deadline for the entry is going to be on the 10th of August and it's completely free to enter. Everybody is welcome, so definitely jump into this giveaway. And remember, you can't win if you do not enter. Now let's get into the part which you guys are all here for. So the first differential player on screen is going to be Callum Wilson. Now I was surprised to see he's only 5% owned because a lot of teams actually have him already. So you can see some of his stats already on screen, his appearances, goals, assists and expected goals per 90. And the main stat I guess on screen is the expected goal per 90, which is 0.59. And just to put that into context, a lot of managers have gone for the very popular forward Watkins, and his expected goals per 90 from last season was 0.44. And as for shots per 90, Callum Wilson was on 2.12 and Watkins 2.65. So Watkins was taking a bit more shots, however the stats are quite similar, so there is a case where you can go for Wilson over Watkins. In terms of their starting fixtures, Wilson, I did show a chart I think about 2 videos ago showing the best attacking potential for teams compared to their opposition's defense, and Newcastle was really high up there. It was very surprising. They were I think 3rd highest in that chart, so that just shows that Newcastle are going to be scoring, especially in the starting fixtures, and you can see them on screen. West Ham at home, Aston Villa away, Southampton at home and United away. So I do see some goals here and definitely see some goals for Wilson, and just a bonus on top, he's also on penalties, which we always like to see as FPL managers. Up next we have Raheem. Now last season he didn't perform as well as we had hoped. We have some of his stats on screen, and once again the important one being the expected goals per 90 at 0.43. Now at 11 million we would expect that stat to be a little bit higher. However, with that being said, let's actually have a look at his stats from seasons before the previous season. So if I read them out to you, in terms of his goals and assists, well you can see them on screen for the 2020-21 season at 10 goals and 7 assists. But when we go back a little bit to 2019-2020 season, he scored 20 goals, so double, and he got just 1 assist, so 21 goal involvements in total. As for the 2018-2019 season, he scored 17 goals and had 10 assists, so 27 goal involvements. And if you go one step back as well to 2017-2018 season, he scored 18 goals and 11 assists, so that's 29 goal involvements. So we can see just from these stats that he is a goal scoring machine. He can provide those assists. So that just raises the question, was last season just a bad season for him? Even with 10 goals and 7 assists, that's 17 goal involvements. For his standards, yeah, that's pretty bad. But overall, it's not too bad. But once again, at 11 million, we are expecting a little bit more. And as we saw in the Euros, he was probably one of England's best player. So if he continues that kind of form and does keep scoring goals, maybe he could be a very nice differential to go for to help you guys start off the season very strongly. Personally, I think I just want to wait and see with him. Let me see him pick up form at City, and if he does, then maybe I can jump onto him as a differential. Up next at 2.3% owned, we have Danny Welbeck. Now, a lot of us have already considered their defense and goalkeepers, but no one's really talking about their attack. Now in terms of their forwards, I think Welbeck is probably the best bet to go for. At 6 million, he comes in at a very nice price, and in terms of FPL, there is no one else really around that 6 million price bracket, which is a regular starter and in a team which has very nice fixtures to start it off. So as you can see, Burnley, Watford, Everton, Brentford for the first 4 is a decent start. As for last season for Welbeck, he wasn't really starting too much because of his injuries when he first joined Brighton, but towards the end of the season when he started to pick up some form as well, he was a regular starter, getting 90 minutes or 80 plus minutes every single game, starting every single game alongside Mopé, and was actually doing fairly well. He picked up an assist and several goals. And an interesting stat here is his expected goals per 90, which is exactly the same as Sterling's last season. Another very interesting stat is when he became that regular starter from game week 28, then all the way to game week 38, he averaged 5 points per game. Now that's actually really good for FPL. We would expect that from maybe the more mid-range to higher range players. However, at his price point, getting 5 points per game was actually really good. And if he can keep that up and start off the season incredibly well, given his fixtures, I think not only is he going to be a very nice differential, he could be a very nice pick overall. Especially since he's 6 million, you can then make a couple upgrades elsewhere. So in my last video, I actually did have a draft showing you guys a team with Welbeck in it. So in that draft, I had Salah, Fernandez, Son and Trent in that draft. And so I needed a cheaper forward option to then just fit the budget. And Welbeck done exactly that. He was a perfect fit at 6 million, a regular starter, and that meant I could really strengthen my midfield with those powerful 3, as well as Trent. So if you guys want to check that video out and see the rest of that team, I'll leave the link to that video in the description. So up next we have the young man AIT-NOURI at a brilliant 4.5 million option and only 1.8% owned. And now we know that he should be the regular starter for the Wolves wingback on the left. So if he does get that start consistently, then he's going to be an absolutely phenomenal option for us managers. Now that is the actual main question: will he be getting those starts? And so if we find out that the answer is yes and he does become nailed on, it's going to be close to being essential, especially at this price point and the fact that he's so attacking. So I've changed one of the stats on screen from expected goals per 90 to, as now you can see, shots per 90, and he's got 1.08. so by itself you can't really tell what 1.08 really means, but when I compare it to someone who's phenomenal, Andrew Robertson, his shots per 90 is 0.5. So actually AIT-NOURI's got double the amount of shots per 90, so that just shows how much of an attacking player he really is. Now admittedly, the first 3 fixtures for Wolves aren't the best, and probably we won't be really starting our Wolves assets if we even get them at the start. However, from game week 4 all the way to 14, the only top 10 team that they're going to be facing is Everton. And apart from them, Wolves have absolutely phenomenal run of fixtures. So especially in that run, we're probably going to see a lot of managers starting jumping onto these Wolves players like Cody, AIT-NOURI, Jimenez if he's fit and ready to play. So speaking of Cody, if AIT-NOURI isn't going to be a regular starter, and we can see that, then Cody also at 4.5 million can be a very nice option getting into the Wolves defense. AIT-NOURI definitely a man to keep your eye on. Now this is a very interesting one. GHAZI coming in at only 0.8% owned and a very nice 6 million price. Now I know a lot of you guys have Buendia in your teams, but just hear me out. If Grealish does leave Aston Villa, then I do believe that GHAZI will be the better pick. The reason for that is, Buendia will be taking up more of a creative role like Grealish did. He essentially will be the new Grealish of the team. I don't know if he's going to be as good as Grealish because Grealish is class. However, he will be the man creating chances, and then GHAZI is going to be the man who's going to be finishing off those chances. So I do believe that Buendia, he'll be getting a lot of assists, whereas GHAZI, he should become the regular starter when Grealish, or if Grealish does leave, and therefore he's going to be the man finishing the chances and getting a lot of goals. And not only is GHAZI 0.5 cheaper than Buendia, he could also be on penalties. Now we did see him take several penalties last season, and if he continues the penalty duty this season, that's just a nice added bonus. Even when we look at GHAZI's stats, they're really quite surprising. We know if you did watch GHAZI last season and when he did play, it was so obvious that he's a very selfish player. I'd go even as far as saying more selfish than Salah. Now the stats do back that up as well. If we compare GHAZI's stats with his teammates, Ollie Watkins. So the shots per 90 for El Ghazi is 3.57 and for Watkins it's 2.65. I mean, look at that. He's almost, well, not quite doubled, but a significant amount more than the striker of the team. Not only that, if we look at a stat called KP90, which is essentially the passes which lead to shots per 90, El Ghazi is at 1.45 and Ollie Watkins at 1.22. Again, he beats Watkins. And one more stat for you guys. So this one's actually on screen, the expected goals per 90. El Ghazi at 0.5 as you can see, and Ollie Watkins at 0.44. So even his expected goals is more than the main striker of the team. So I don't really want to say he's selfish, but you can see where I'm trying to go with this. He's getting a lot of shots away. There have been situations where, if you watch the Aston Villa games last season, there were situations where he could have easily just passed it and made a simple pass which could have helped led to a goal. But he didn't. He went for the shots himself. And for FPL managers, that's what we like to see. We like to see our players taking shots and trying to get a lot of goals. And just to add to that, Aston Villa's 3 first fixtures are amazing. You can see on screen Watford, Newcastle, Brentford. Phenomenal fixtures. And if Grealish does leave, I do believe El Ghazi will be the better option over Buendia. And finally, coming in at 2.1% owned, we have Bowen. Now, as long as Lingard doesn't come back to West Ham, Bowen will be a regular starter and should play 90 minutes every game. And he's at a very nice price as well at 6.5 million. Now, once again, I'll read out some stats for you guys to help you guys out and determine if Bowen is truly a nice option. I'll compare him with Jack Harrison from Leeds, just to give you guys some context, since we know Jack Harrison's a really good player. He played pretty much every game last season and he's actually quite a popular pick for this season as well alongside Rafinha. So I'm going to be comparing Bowen and Harrison's stats. So for the shots per 90, Bowen's at 1.9, whereas Jack Harrison's slightly lower at 1.44. In terms of the expected goals per 90, you can see on screen that Bowen is at 0.28 and Harrison is slightly lower once again at 0.2. And finally, in terms of their assists per 90, Bowen's at 0.18. In this one, Harrison just beats him at 0.24. So you can see that they're fairly similar. So I think maybe Bowen's just slightly overlooked here. He could link up very well with Antonio. Both of them together could perform incredibly well. And the starting fixtures are really nice as well, with Newcastle, Leicester, Crystal Palace and then Southampton. So even I can see a triple up of West Ham happening with Antonio, Bowen and maybe like a Soufal or Cresswell at the back. At the moment, I've got both Antonio and Soufal in my team. I do see Bowen doing very well this season and having a lot of contributions to West Ham's goals. Now when it comes to differentials, there really is a reason why they're low owned. It's usually because there's some sort of risks tied to them. However, I do think having 1 or 2 differentials in your teams really separates your whole team compared to a lot of other people I've gone for who are ranked quite close to you. This way, you have a nice chance of just boosting up the ranks really early on in the season and helping you get a very nice overall rank by the end of the season. So personally, I think I'll definitely be having a differential for my starting team. The core structure, I do recommend having it fairly safe, especially at the start of the season, just to see how each team is performing and what kind of form everyone's in. So are there any other differentials which you guys are thinking about? Let me know down in the comment section below. And I hope the differentials that I showed you today will help you guys out for your own teams. And finally, if you did enjoy today's video, then please leave a like on this video. It really helps out the channel. And if you're new here, then please do subscribe. As I mentioned, there's going to be a lot of videos all throughout the season. I'm trying to make this YouTube thing really work. And so I hope you guys found today's video very useful. With that being said guys, I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.